All right, we begin this segment with our GMC Sierra tweet of the night. The Pirates have made a trade. They got a 25-year-old outfielder with a good arm, Chavez Young from Toronto, in exchange for Zach Thompson. You might remember Zach Thompson was acquired in the Jason Stollies trade. They were high on him. He made 22 starts, just like Bryce Wilson. Andrew, all of a sudden, they're gone. And they reload and whatever they're trying to do. Another young kid. Who knows if we'll ever see him up here.
Well, what are they trying to do? Not win now is the bottom line. Is that when you look at this Pirates offseason, I still think that they look at themselves as a rebuilding team that's trying to lose to get themselves in position for a better draft pick and more prospects. And to me, this is the last year of that. Beyond this year, if that's still the organizational mindset in 2024, well, then we've got major, major problems. This is really already trying the patience of Pirates fans. They're accustomed to it. But if it extends beyond this year, well, then I really question the direction of this organization, Bob.
Yeah, I really think it should have stopped last year. I think they need to go in a different direction now. But, by doing this, again, I remember good comments about Bryce Wilson, nice comments about Zach Thompson, and voila, all of a sudden they're not here. Let's go to the lines. Our first caller tonight is our number one Cochran Go One Better call of the night, and that would be Mike in Irwin. Hello, Mike. What's going on?
Hi, Mike.
Hello, Bob. Thanks for having me on your show.
Mm-hmm.
What I wanted to say, Bob, is this is getting back to them retiring Franco Harris's jersey. I personally feel that Bradshaw was had just as much to do with that immaculate reception as Franco Harris. Why didn't they retire Bradshaw's jersey also? Because I've also seen that they said nobody will wear Bradshaw's jersey. And then also, like Jack Lambert, nobody's worn his jersey. Nobody's worn Jack Ham's. Nobody's worn Mel Blunt's. Are they waiting till these people die before they decide?
Well, no, I don't think so. But maybe what happened is something that will change the direction of how they feel about this. Clearly, those numbers aren't going to be given out. So clearly, they should be retired. And I've said that. I agree with that. I thought, only 2 prior to Franco was a little bit much. As far as the play itself, yeah, you're right. But Franco Harris still made the play. He was the guy who didn't stop on that ball. He went to the ball. Without that mindset, they don't make the play. But Bradshaw's strength to get it off, I don't know how we got on that topic. So, but that's the point. Bradshaw did have a big role in it, and we'll see eventually those numbers. I think, Andrew, don't you, that they'll be retired? I think this is maybe a lesson or maybe something that the Rooney family will look at and say, maybe we should do more of this.
Yeah, I think the Hall of Honor was the start of that. Maybe this is a wake-up call, like, hey, let's celebrate these people while they're still with us. Could be. Bob, did you get the impression from meeting with Tomlin and being over there the last few days that they felt like this was a good year?
No. And I honestly, I don't think that. I think they failed in what they wanted to do, which was to get into the postseason. I think they say that and they mean that every single year. And, they go to the very end. There's a lot to be said for that. But, that start, you have to look at it. They've had some really horrid endings recently. The 11-0 season comes to mind. Even the, what year was it? The Duck Hodges, Mason Rudolph 8-5 situation where they had a chance to get into the postseason and they didn't do it. So, it should never be considered successful. I think because they were getting into a quarterback situation here with a transition period, which for some teams lasts 5 years, maybe more. You never know if you're going to get the guy who's going to make a difference. Ask the New York Jets. Ask Indianapolis. They've been trying to poke and bring in guys left and right. Now they may have to draft someone, and maybe they won't get the guy they want. The Steelers, I'll say this, they made that call, and it was Mike Tomlin, I think, who pushed that call to get Kenny Pickett. He believed in Kenny Pickett, and if he did that, what happened the end of the season will help them into next year. And if that's the guy who's going to be here for many years successfully, then they have really minimized the downtime that they would have as an offense.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, I do think they have the right quarterback, and I don't think this was a championship caliber team. If they had played Kenny Pickett from day one, I don't think they'd get to a Super Bowl. I'm not even sure they win a playoff game, but when I heard Mike Tomlin say on Tuesday, or on Monday, excuse me, because it was different this week, that he had no regrets over the way he handled his quarterbacks. Really? Because your best friend Jay Glazer said your ideal situation was to not play Kenny Pickett the entire year. Okay, if they had played Kenny Pickett in week 1, I think the Jets game and I think the Dolphins game turn into Steelers wins. I don't think Kenny Pickett throws 3 interceptions against the Jets if he's already been out there for 3 games. I don't think when Kenny has the game on the line against the Dolphins, he's throwing 2 interceptions late in that game. So I thought that was a mistake by Tomlin to say, hey, no regrets. Really? If you had handled your quarterback situation differently, Bob, instead of 9-8, you might be 11-6 right now.
I have a different take, and he may have not handled it the right way, but I didn't have a problem with him not starting Kenny Pickett. I had a problem with him starting Mitch Trubisky, who has 5 years in this league, and restricting him to do what he had to do, if that was the case. Again, I don't know 100% if that was the case, but it seemed to be that was the case, that they were going at it in a very cautious way in order not to turn the ball over. And while that's important, when you stress it too much, it's like taking a golf club out and playing safe. Typically, you're still going to make the same mistake. You may make it worse and compound your problems. That's where I thought they made a mistake. If you're going to bring Trubisky in, you think maybe you can extract talent that's there that hasn't been extracted, fine, let him go. Let him see what he can do. But by not doing that, then, they hurt him and really hurt their chances in the first several games. Let's go back to the lines here. We got Matt, I think it is, in Butler. Hey, Matt, how you doing?
Hey,
Matt.
Hey, Bob. Hey, guys. Good evening. Bob, I agree with everything you just said about Mitch Trubisky. Just 2 points. I thought several of the offensive players came out in support of Matt Canada. I'm not saying either way. I just thought they did. And then the question is, you guys thought at the beginning of the season we wouldn't have 3 quarterbacks that we kept even at the beginning of the season, yet we kept them the whole way through. Do they get anything for Mason Rudolph now, or is he just gone free agency and we get nothing?
Likely gone, unless Trubisky goes. That's a good question. Thank you for calling, Andrew. I don't know how you think. Maybe Mitch Trubisky doesn't want to be part of this. Maybe he is under contract, and I like him as a backup at that price. I do. Maybe Steve for a backup, but I still will take it. I think either one of those guys would be fine backups, but both are not going to be here. How do you think it's going to play out?
Well, Trubisky's already told ESPN that he regretted signing here on day 1. So I think he's gone. I think he's trying to carve a path or create an opening for him to go somewhere else. I mean, if you're Bob, and I agree with you, if you're going to play Trubisky, play him. They did not open things up for him. So that decision was a mistake. If you're going to go with the veteran quarterback, allow the veteran quarterback to actually play. And they didn't. And actually, I think later in the year, because they were so restrictive on Trubisky, he tried to make up for it too much against the Ravens. I think he tried to prove them wrong, and because he got too aggressive in the Ravens game, he ended up throwing 3 interceptions. So the way they handled the quarterbacks was so backwards that I think it ended up backfiring on them at multiple points in the season, including Trubisky trying to do too much in that Ravens game.
All right, we're going to take a break here, Andrew. Got to do that. Come back more right here on Pittsburgh CW and 93.7 The Fan.